Now, over in Houston, Texas, is an abandoned apartment complex that's been sitting empty for quite some time. There doesn't seem to be anyone living on this property, and perhaps it's best that it stays that way. Because according to Joe Galindo, in 2019, his mother recorded something while living in this building that to this day keeps him up at night. As Joe writes, in 2019, my mom told me she was fighting demons, but I didn't believe her, so she sent me proof. The following is what his mother recorded while pretending to be asleep. Apparently it doesn't come out if she's awake. Watch closely. Seeing the video, Joe no longer thought that his mom was crazy. In her kitchen, something above appears to poke out from behind the doorway. But as if Joe wasn't already disturbed enough, he takes a screenshot, brightens it up, and sees this. What looks like a faceless figure can be seen hanging upside down from the ceiling. While some say that a face can be seen here, many agree that it's hard to tell. But the fact that its features are indiscernible only makes it that much more unsettling, as some believe this might have been something beyond human comprehension. Now the video ends here, but it's assumed that Joe's mother kept watching this figure before she passed out from being tired. The next day, she sent him this video. So then, had something paranormal taken place at this now abandoned apartment, or was something else going on here? It's hard to say, but if something supernatural was actually there, then Joe can rest assured that it won't be messing with his mom, as she no longer lives in this complex. On February 25th, 2025, a man named Tivo posted a video that his grandmother took when she and a friend spotted something outside her window that caused them to back away immediately.
God, be careful, Bab.
They were cautious in keeping their distance from the glass panes, but not because of something they saw on the street or inside another building, but because of something that was right at their window. It was on a Tuesday afternoon during a family reunion that a shadow suddenly appeared behind the sheer curtains. It was pretty evident that a stranger was right outside and possibly trying to get in, but they weren't ready for what came next, because much to their disbelief, this happens.
Oh God, be careful, Bab. Oh my God.
What they saw, or rather what they didn't see, left them completely astounded. The supposed stranger they swore was outside the window wasn't actually there. In fact, he was never there to begin with. Upon pulling back the curtain to see who was there, they see this. Nothing. Now, it wasn't just nothing, according to Tavo, who got this video from his grandmother. Something had actually been there. To him, this had to be some sort of supernatural entity that paid his grandmother and her friend a visit. It's been a year now since the video was posted, but despite how much time has passed, Tavo and his grandma still wonder just what had been outside. In the following video, a nervous daughter records her mother who's trying to capture a rat that's hiding inside their laundry room. It's a seemingly funny moment caught on camera, but this video stops being humorous when a certain detail gets pointed out that neither the mom nor daughter had realized until later. Somewhere in this clip, something very unsettling was caught on camera besides the rat. Watch closely.
There's this huge freaking rat in our living room. Or not our living room, in our laundry room right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh wait, okay, wait, let me try to open the door. Hold on. Oh my god, it's right there in the basket. Oh my god. Mom, you gotta get it. Mom, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I'm sorry. Get the baby, Mom.
On the other side of this door, a shape resembling a head can be seen pressing up against the metal mesh on the wooden frame. It's up close, as if seemingly gazing at the mother and daughter who were already spooked enough by the massive rodent. If the size of this rat hadn't already terrified them, then surely this has. Now, what's really strange about this is that this wasn't there initially. If nothing was there previously, then how did this show up?
So this is the hallway that me and my daughter saw the rat go into our cat door in our laundry room. For some reason, I never felt comfortable in here. I felt it's not surprising that we caught something in that window. Very odd, and it makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Neither Catalina, the mother, nor her daughter had noticed it or have any clue as to what this was. But recently, another video was shared by Catalina, which not only is just as creepy, but might explain what this was.
This is my son Jason. He is autistic, and he is playing with his camera, which is in this toy car. This is a toy he used to capture the ghosts.
Only weeks after this incident, Catalina's son accidentally captures something on his toy camera inside the laundry room. While using the wireless camera on his remote to chase their dog around the house, her son captures this. It's what happened before this that makes her skin crawl. Firstly, when the toy car drove into the laundry room, a voice can be heard. Mind you that no one else had been inside, let alone downstairs where the laundry room is at. Like the silhouette that was in here before, this cryptic voice has no traceable source. But perhaps the creepiest part isn't what happens here, but instead what happens outside. As the automatic pet door opens and closes repeatedly, a single piece of a playmat goes flying off before landing in front of the pet entrance. But it's the fact that only one piece flies off, while the rest stay put. That's pretty strange. The wind in this case, if any, may not be able to explain this. It just rips off as if plucked by a child who's having a tantrum. But to Catalina, whatever threw this was aiming for the car. Whether ghost or not, she's deeply unsettled by what was captured both inside and outside her house.
As you can see, when I pull this one apart, it's very hard, and it just flew up.
Given the whole incident with the rat and the shadow figure plus this, she can't help but think something haunts her home. If so, she hopes that it's someone she once knew.
I like to think that it was my grandmother because she was always close to me, and I always felt like she was around me and protecting me.
Currently, she continues to be on the lookout for any more strange occurrences in her house. But for now, this whole situation remains a mystery. Now, this next video comes from an Uber Eats driver who was driving past a cemetery when this happened. In the 4 years that Marcus Wilson has been delivering food for Uber Eats, never has he ever been so afraid of coming back to this neighborhood, and for good reason. On the night of April 28th, 2026, Marcus was on his way to drop off an order when he realized that the road he was on was surrounded by not one, but 2 massive plots of land entirely filled with grave sites.
See these 2 lanes right here? This is where I was at, man. This whole lane right here are nothing but cemeteries.
Although he's driven to some sketchy areas before, nothing could have prepared him for what was caught on his dash cam. Take a look.
Cemetery. That's called a cemetery.
Marcus didn't see it happen, but something from outside darts into his car. He was sure that during this time his windows had been rolled up, which you can clearly see in this footage, but somehow, whatever this is, manages to get in. Neither flinching nor having any reaction whatsoever, Marcus is completely oblivious to the fleeting object. To him, it's no surprise that something like this would happen at a cemetery, let alone 2 of them.
This is where I was at, man.
But nothing is as baffling as what happens next when Marcus finishes delivering the food he was carrying. Now it's important to note that the reason he shares this video is because he suspects it has some connection to what occurred after he dropped off the food. Just minutes after arriving to the address, Marcus paces back and forth outside of his vehicle, terrified of going back inside. Take a look.
Doing my usual Uber eating, dropping off some food. I swear, this I have all address gotta be accepted by the cemetery. I see this again, I'm not gonna accept it. I'll tell you that. tripping. No. Make sure I'm not tripping. So, I'm dropping off the DoorDash. The Uber Eats, and I can't even get my daggone company straight. And you're gonna see a vibration. Go see tapping at the window. He's definitely gonna hear it. What the f? Hell no. Hell no. Tripping. No, I'm not tripping. Oh, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no. Okay. No. Oh, hell, what the hell, no. Yeah. No. Nope. No. No.
Marcus was so shaken up by this incident that he now flat out refuses any orders from places near cemeteries. A shoe seemingly comes alive as it zips across and creeps forward, and out of nowhere the door handle to the passenger side begins to pull by itself, as if someone was trying to get in. But as Marcus shows us, no one was outside. But then, as if finally getting a firm grip on the handle, something opens the door. Now, while each thing that happens is creepy on its own, it's looking at everything collectively that paints a terrifying picture. Could it be that whatever had been outside was trying to lure him out of his car using a shoe? Or were these all just random occurrences, with an entire cemetery as a backdrop? It's understandable why many would think that this is undeniably paranormal. But of course, what do you think? Marcus is certain that it is, aside from being sure that he won't be coming back anytime soon. At roughly 11:40 p.m. on a Sunday night, two nurses working the night shift at a dialysis clinic are getting a patient ready to go home. It's just about closing time and only one patient is left to be sent home via the pickup area that's outside the clinic. But just before heading out, something catches their attention. According to Josephine, who sent me this video, someone was searching through their dumpsters and making a lot of noise. Apparently, it's a common occurrence here. But this isn't the reason she sends me this video. At the same time that Josephine and her colleague were outside, something happens inside. Thankfully, the patient in this video was okay with Josephine sharing this video. They too felt it was necessary to show this footage to others, as otherwise no one would believe them. The following is what was caught. Take a look. For some reason, the lady in the wheelchair covers up her face after letting out a scream. It's the same reaction that someone would have upon seeing something terrifying. But as it turns out, that's exactly what happened. Because according to Josephine, this patient saw a person who was seemingly disfigured and walking towards her. However, as the footage shows, no one is near. Or at least it seems like that. Because if you look closely at the reflection on this TV screen, you'll notice what it was that terrified her. Take a look. As it turns out, someone or something else had actually been present. On the TV screen, the shape of a dark figure suddenly appears before disappearing near the lady. At one point, it's here, but then seconds later, it's right behind her. It's as if this shadowy figure had only been intent on getting close to her. As Josephine writes, they really thought that she was just seeing things, but apparently that's not the case. While it's been a few months now since the time of this recording, this video continues to get pulled up at work as nurses find it hard to believe. But of course, what do you think? Just what exactly had this old lady seen inside this lobby? This one remains a mystery. Now, the following video comes from a woman named Giselle Duran, who was recently forced to leave her apartment in the middle of the night. Pretty much everyone who's seen this video was left confused on why Giselle was crying inconsolably. It was very odd that she would put this video out there, but after looking at her page and going through all her posts, it didn't take long for many to see why she was so paranoid. For the past few months, Giselle Duran has been sharing clips that were captured by her security camera. They're mostly just recordings of her living room, but in each one, something happens that many believe has led up to the recent breakdown she had. It goes without saying, but these next few clips are nothing short of unsettling. It all started with a video she posted in late March 2026 when Giselle was home alone doing laundry. But then, out of nowhere, this happens. Now, it may not seem like much, but this occurrence marks the first time something strange happened in her apartment. Thinking that the whole incident with her flying phone was just a random one-time occurrence, she was caught completely off guard when something like this happened again. Only this time, she didn't think it was random. On March 28th, 2026, she recorded this. It was at this point where she began to think that maybe something is messing with her. Like someone who didn't want the lights off, they immediately turn on as soon as Giselle turns them off. It was definitely strange, but especially so when looking back at the previous occurrence. Maybe what happened there wasn't so random. Now, although neither encounter was enough to freak her out just yet, one incident came close to doing that, and it's what happened on April 2nd of 2026. While Giselle was fixing a shoelace inside her closet, this happens. Now it might be hard to notice, but something happens within this area that set Giselle on edge. You won't really spot it at regular speed, but if you scrub the footage back and forth, you'll notice that the bag on the table begins to move, almost as if coming alive. This of course freaked out Giselle, which led her to take action. Like other instances, she couldn't explain how it moved, nor figure out what had touched her. This is perhaps the creepiest part about this incident. Now so far, everything that's happened up to this point has led her to believe that something isn't right with her place. Any small thing that happens now makes her jump out of her skin, and the fact that she's living solo makes things worse. But as it seems, she may not be entirely alone, because one night, after being woken up by a sound inside her room, this happens.
Obviamente no me voy a levantar a ver qué es, pero tengo miedo, estoy temblando del miedo. Si pasa... No mames. No mames. Creo que hay alguien atrás de la puerta. O algo. Tengo miedo. Tengo miedo.
Tal vez era mi imaginación, no miré mal. Pero salí corriendo de ahí porque ya no puedo. Ya no puedo, ya no sé qué hacer. Son las 4 de la mañana. Pero sé que había algo ahí, sé que miré algo y no estoy loca. No estoy loca. Tengo que entrar a trabajar al rato y no he dormido nada. Estoy nerviosa, no sé.
It now becomes clear as to why Giselle was so freaked out in this video. It wasn't just whatever this was that was at her door, but all the stuff before it that finally made her snap. Already feeling on edge, she bolts out of her room and pays no attention to the black shape at her door, not knowing if it was still there or not. She just wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. So she hops in her car and drives all the way to her job before parking outside and clocking in hours later. Now, when she came back home eventually, she didn't find anything around her door to explain what she saw last night. It was gone, as if nothing had been there in the first place. But as her video shows, something was clearly there. From capturing things moving by themselves to recording moments where she felt a presence, Giselle has documented what she believes is clear evidence of an uninvited guest making itself at home. But of course, what do you think? While there haven't been any other strange happenings since then, she continues to look closely at these videos, hoping to find something in them that explains them. But for now, it remains unknown as to what exactly is happening inside her apartment. As always, let me know your thoughts on this one. In this next video, a mother had recently shared a clip that freaked her out after noticing what was in it. One day, while looking at her security cameras, Adrienne Dakota notices something inside her living room, but more specifically around her child's playpen. She wasn't sure as to what she was seeing, so she zooms in and replays the video to check. It goes without saying, but what she saw continues to keep her up at night. Now it's important to note that before this incident, Adrienne had already been documenting strange things around her house, and for some reason, these occurrences had something to do with her children's toys. Now, it might be easy to write this off as being just a glitch or a toy that's starting to malfunction, but what's strange is that this was happening day after day, one toy turning on after another. And that's without mentioning that during this time, Adrienne's daughter had an imaginary friend who she said was very tall. Now keep this imaginary friend in mind, because this detail becomes important much later in the video she recently posted. The reason why she was so freaked out by the toys turning on was because prior to this, her daughter kept mentioning this imaginary friend, and apparently this so-called friend would show up in places where her daughter said it was usually inside the house near the toys. Adrienne was so frightened by this, but more so by this video, because according to her, while taking care of her second child in another room, something terrifying appears in her living room. This is what she caught. To Adrienne, it appears that someone or something peeks out from behind her baby's playpen. Thankfully, her child wasn't in there during this moment, but strangely, even though no baby was occupying it, the figure itself looks like one. Whether it's just pareidolia or not, it's obvious that something is there. Considering that a bowl just fell off the shelf with no apparent cause, Adrienne can't help but wonder if whatever this was had been responsible for the other occurrences before. It is strange how each occurrence involves one of her children's things. Whether it's their toys or their small play enclosure, something unexplainable happens around them. This, of course, brings up the question, could this have been the supposed imaginary friend her daughter had previously mentioned? Or might this be something else entirely? Currently, and unfortunately, there has yet to be a definitive answer to this question. Now, it's often the case that videos on the paranormal take place inside a home. It's usually the setting that makes small disturbances feel twice as scary. But the same can be said for any place where something that shouldn't occur happens. Such is the case in this next video, where a group of Philippine students had caught something on camera inside an empty restroom, but as you'll see, it definitely wasn't. Take a look. Out of nowhere, the sound of a child crying emanates from inside the restroom, but the thing is, they're nowhere to be seen. The only thing that is seen are the empty stalls where just moments ago, the door to one of them began to open on its own. But even without seeing this, the voice alone is pretty unnerving. It's enough to make anyone just run away. Now, very little info is available on this clip, but what was captured is just one instance of something supernatural that occurred here. This school is said to be haunted. So then, was a ghost caught on camera or had something else been captured? On November 14th of 2025, a small family rents out an Airbnb for a few days, unaware that they would encounter something very unsettling while staying there. They had booked the place in advance for an upcoming wedding that was out of town, so staying here made sense. But one night, after coming back from walking their dog, this happens.
We were just out walking my dog, and when we came in, we heard Jesus Christ.
Somehow, the leash on her dog's collar suddenly jolts up in a quick motion before wrapping itself around her dog. It just flings up, as if someone had chucked it upwards, but clearly no one is seen on the stairs to have done that, which is very odd considering that just moments ago, this was heard. Now, Sydney, who recorded this video, was just as baffled as the Airbnb host who received this video from her. But this wouldn't be the only video she sends, because the next day, while placing the leash on the stairs to see if it would jump again, this is captured.
Okay, so this is the leash. There she goes again. I don't think the leash is gonna move, but she's definitely sensing something. Every single day.
Although the leash doesn't move this time, her dog goes ahead and does this. For some reason, it's at the same time the leash is on the steps that her dog begins to search for something. But like before, nothing appears to be there. Sydney even checks the rug to see if anything on or under it was making her dog behave this way. But still, nothing. However, there's something in this video that's worth pointing out, and it's a detail that appears in other videos that Sydney recorded of her dog. Watch closely.
So I wanted to show you guys some footage of my dog with these stairs. So here's another clip that I got of her doing it, walk over and see her, and she was so locked into this.
Now, if you didn't notice, in each video, Sydney's dog is always around a certain area of the stairs. It's always the middle or lower half of the steps, but never the top. If it wasn't for this detail, Sydney would not have realized this.
So I think I figured out why my dog just is always hanging out right here. So I just found a door back here. So I don't think that it's what's on the stairs. I tried to check, but the door is locked. Obviously it's an Airbnb, so they lock a lot of the doors up. Yeah, I don't think that it's what's on the stairs like what I initially thought. I think it's what's below.
Considering that the space is on the ground, it explains why her dog is never seen on top. She seems to be sensing something that's in this room, but the question is, what exactly is she sensing? Wanting to find out, Sydney and her sister probe around the space to see what it might be that's inside. But during this moment, while recording, they capture this.
So this is the switch. You guys can see their light is on right there. I wonder if
there's something right behind the door.
Almost immediately after Sydney pulls out her phone, the doorknob suddenly turns. Although no one was seen on the other side, the door handle moves as if held from the other end. Now, Sydney was under the impression that a person had turned the knob, so they reach out to the Airbnb host and ask if anyone else is renting the place.
sent the video to the landlord of the Airbnb, and hold on, let me turn asking like, hey, is there someone else renting it out as well as us or what? Because basically he was like, no, you guys are the only ones that are in the Airbnb right now, like booked out for the week.
After finding out that no one else is inside, Sydney concludes that what happened that night wasn't a case of someone co-renting the house, but rather another paranormal occurrence. To her, this is much preferable over having a stranger inside the house. But despite being at ease now knowing that it's not a person, the doorknob incident still baffles her. This is so especially given that it still moves now and then.
Yeah. Scary. Okay. Okay, every time we've knocked before, this doorknob would turn a little bit.
As it turns out, this room was actually a basement. Out of nowhere, the phone gets yanked inside before tumbling down the steps and landing on its face, but it's before it tumbles that something weird happens. If you didn't notice, the phone moves on its own again before falling down. But of course, the strangest part is when the phone somehow lifts itself. Neither Sydney nor the Airbnb host could explain this. It just rises up before falling back with no footsteps around to suggest that someone was there. It's no wonder why many see this as being paranormal. To Sydney and her sister, that's exactly the case. Whatever had been inside did not seem to like their intrusion. From the leash moving on its own to the phone being pulled inside, it currently remains unknown as to what exactly occurred here. But as with all videos, you be the judge on whether or not something supernatural took place. As always, let me know your thoughts on this one. Now, the following video was submitted to me by Arian B, who writes that she took this video during a school field trip to the Philippines. It was 2010 when she recorded this, so understandably the quality isn't that good. But despite being filmed on a cheap cell phone, she was able to capture something pretty noticeable on camera. And of course, what she notices is pretty creepy. According to her, she was taking a tour of an old fortress where many soldiers had lost their lives. This fortress is known as Fort Mills, and the section of this fort that Arian was touring is known as Battery Grubs, a section where both Filipino and American soldiers had sacrificed their lives while defending against invading forces in 1942. While touring Battery Grubs, Arian captures this. Now it's been 15 years since this video was taken, and Arian hadn't realized what was captured until re-watching this footage recently. On the upper level of this barrack, there appears to be something moving, but it doesn't look like a tourist who was just wandering. Rather, it looks like a moving blurb that disappears in an instant. Now, of course, given the camera's low quality, this might have just been a camera artifact, or in other words, a visual glitch. But it's worth noting that this only appears once throughout the entire video. Never again do we see anything like this afterward, suggesting that maybe this wasn't the camera acting up, but instead something that was actually there. As Arian believes, this blurb was most likely the spirit of one of the soldiers who passed away during battle here. Perhaps this is them still living out the same scenario that played out during 1942, unaware that they're no longer alive. It's a sad thought, but nevertheless, this footage creeps out Arian. So then, just what exactly was caught on camera at this fort? Now, the following video comes from a young mother named Akina, and ever since having her first child, she's been posting numerous videos of her baby boy. It's her first child, so it makes sense that she would want to capture every moment involving her son Panko. From the time he was born to the moment he got his first playpen, Akina has been sharing lots of memories involving Panko on her page. However, not every moment has been shared online, and for good reason. On January 29th of 2024, at around 2:30 in the morning, Akina was dead asleep when she suddenly woke up to something in her bedroom. Thankfully, little Panko was unaware of what was happening, because during this moment something pretty frightening happened. The following is what was caught. Take a look. It's no wonder why Akina didn't want to share this video initially. Now, besides the fact that the door opens and closes all by itself, there's something Akina mentions that makes this whole video even more terrifying. According to her, at this moment she had seen a figure standing at the doorway which looked a lot like her husband. But the weird part about this is that her husband had not come home from work yet. It was only a few hours before he came back, but strangely, to Akina, he was there, just staring at her from a distance. Now clearly, no one is there. However, if you listen closely to the audio, you can hear Akina's security alarm going off as though someone entered the house. It's for this reason she leaves the room to turn it off and to chase her husband, who was walking away at this point. But it's from this moment that things start to get creepier, because not long after, Akina acts strange. From standing motionless at the door to quickly coming in and sitting down in a rigid manner, it's almost as if Akina was someone else. But as it turns out, she was just scared, because after heading downstairs to see where her husband had gone, she saw that all the lights were still off and the door still locked. Her husband, as it seems, was not home yet. Freaked out, she heads back up and sits down while trying to figure out what just happened. If he wasn't home, then who was? She continues to replay this moment in her head, despite occurring a while ago. But until it's figured out what happened, she'll continue to keep this video up on her page while sharing more videos of her son. For now, this occurrence remains a mystery. Now, the following video was recorded by a grandmother who lives alone with her dog and 2 cats. However, it appears that her pets aren't the only ones keeping her company, because according to her, there's something in her house that won't leave her alone.
В зеркале было отражение чего-то не очень непонятного. На видео. Я вам всем докажу.
According to Polina, last night, she recorded a video of something that appeared in her bedroom. It showed up in the same spot where it often appears, around the mirror. She's been trying to get it on camera, as her family believes it's nothing. They believe it's her old age that's making her see things, but after watching this video, they're not so sure now if that's the case. Take a look.
Уходи отсюда. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи отсюда. Уходи из моего дома. Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи отсюда. Уходи отсюда. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи. Уходи, я сказала. Уходи отсюда. Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь.
After Polina realizes that what she'd seen wasn't there, she catches sight of this. A dangling ornament beneath the lamp moving on its own. However, it wasn't just swaying back and forth as one would expect. It was curving upwards in a strange manner that neither a draft or wind current could cause. Now, whatever happened that night is something that remains uncertain. In either case, whether paranormal or not, just seeing this out of nowhere is unsettling. But one night, Polina decides to record again because apparently she saw the same figure hiding inside her fireplace. Take a look. Like something out of a nightmare, what looks like a head suddenly appears in the fireplace. And the freakiest part is that it shows itself right when Polina starts to get close. It's as if whatever this was had realized she was approaching. Understandably, she was freaked out by this, but more so after going back to the space and seeing the fireplace completely empty now. Like before, what she saw initially is now gone. Now currently, no new videos have been shared by Polina, whether supernatural or something else. These two clips are without a doubt pretty terrifying. A woman named Celsa Ann posted a video to her TikTok account on March 28, 2022, in which she explains that she's been noticing some strange noises in her house, despite the fact that she's home alone with her dog. Celsa then takes us with her as she explores different areas in her house just to make sure there isn't any sort of intruder in there with her. As it turns out, there was an intruder in Celsa's house. The only thing is that it isn't a human intruder.
Okay, so I have been trying to catch this on video for at least 2 weeks now. I have been seeing things move. Everybody thinks I'm nuts. I know what I saw. There's nobody here. My doggy. Okay. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Okay. Oh my god, I told you. Okay.
Suddenly, a drawer can be seen opening all by itself, causing Celsa to emit a terrified gasp of terror as she realizes the gravity of this situation. She backs away, scared for her life, as she continues to film the strange drawer. Celsa then continues to film the drawer for a while until this happened just a little bit later.
Oh my god! I'm not crazy.
Celsa has yet to make an update on this video, so we can only hope that means her life is back to normal now. Let's just hope that this strange spirit doesn't intrude upon her in the future. Playgrounds are often the place in which millions of children from all around the world make hundreds of memories with their friends growing up, playing games of all kinds. You don't typically associate playgrounds with hauntings, but that's exactly what's happening in this next video we'll be taking a look at today. The video in question was published to TikTok in January of 2025 by a woman named Nadia, who was filming a playground in the distance from the comforter of a vehicle. Immediately, it's clear that there's something very strange going on with this playground. Have a look and see for yourself. The clip shows a large children's swing moving forcefully from side to side, while Nadia can only film in complete shock and awe. You can also see from the trees that there doesn't seem to be any noticeable wind, making this video even more bizarre. If not for the wind, then what could possibly be making this swing move around so much while the other swing doesn't? Is it possible that there's some kind of a ghostly entity wandering around this playground and just messing around, trying to have fun even in the afterlife? If so, let's just hope that that's the entity's only intention. On TikTok, a woman named Sarah posted a video in which she documented her experience one night with a toy displaying some strange and creepy behavior she had to film to show the world. Sarah was simply sitting on the couch and watching some TV when she was startled by a weird musical noise coming from a different room in her house. She proceeded to then pause the TV and open up her phone camera as soon as she heard the music begin to play.
My daughter's been asleep for 2 hours. She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on? She can't reach that. Hi, baby. And she's dead asleep when that thing just came on. There's no way. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry.
A bit later on, she started to record a video for a group chat, and it's here in which something incredibly bizarre happens that shakes her to the core.
We usually turn that machine on every night at bedtime. I didn't turn it on tonight. For that thing to be on, like if I were to... What the f*** was that? Okay, my whole body. No. What is that? Nope. Nope. I told you to get out. My heart monitor battery just drained. My sensor battery just drained. That's what's going off right now.
Out of nowhere, Sarah's heart monitor gets completely drained of power, much to her pure horror. What's also worth pointing out is that at the 39-second mark in the video, there may also be a ghost in the dark behind the door, as pointed out by many people in the comment section. However, this may just be a piece of furniture that looks like a ghost. So, what do you guys think is going on here? Do you think Sarah is dealing with spirits from another dimension that she should be worried about? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Over on the YouTube channel Caught on Tape, a video was uploaded that begins with an eerie message stating that the footage we're about to see was filmed on an abandoned property back in 2008. The clip starts with a man slowly approaching a shed-like structure in the dark, using only a flashlight to guide his way. He carefully opens the door and pushes it inward, only to be met with something completely unexpected.
Let's get up. Come on.
Out of nowhere, a pale, lanky figure suddenly rushes toward him, letting out a high-pitched screech as it closes the distance. The moment is chaotic and brief, with the uploader quickly turning and running, managing to escape without any visible harm. The way the creature moves is what stands out most. Its speed and posture feel unnatural, giving the impression of something not entirely human. Moments like this are often linked to the Rake, a creepypasta turned urban legend describing a thin, human-like entity known for its erratic movement and unsettling appearance. The resemblance is close enough that it's easy to see why many have made that connection. If this wasn't something unknown, then one explanation could be that it was staged, with someone in a costume rushing the camera to create a sudden scare. The setting and limited visibility would make it easier to pull something like that off. Nearly 2 decades later, the footage still doesn't come with any clear answers. So, what do you make of it? Does this look like a genuine encounter or something created to feel that way? On February 19th, 2012, a German YouTuber known as Plingplong23 posted a video that shows a group of friends sitting around a coffee table in their house late one night. They appear to be playing their own makeshift version of a Ouija board, and as you might expect, things don't stay calm for long. For the first little while, everything seems completely normal. The group takes turns playing, smiling and laughing as if it's all just harmless fun, with no sign that anything unusual is about to happen. Then, out of nowhere, this happens.
Du hast dich schon! Nur weil sie jetzt noch weiter gedreht hat, halt gesehen!
The wine glass suddenly begins to move on its own, sliding across the table before lifting up entirely and violently smashing into pieces. The moment happens fast, but it's enough to send everyone jumping back in shock. Their reactions breaking the calm as the video abruptly ends. At first glance, it almost feels like something unseen is interacting directly with the glass, especially given how suddenly the mood shifts. The way it lifts off the surface is what really stands out, making it hard to immediately explain. At the same time, there are a few grounded possibilities to consider. It's possible something off camera could have influenced the glass, or that some kind of setup was used to create the effect. Without a clear view of everything happening around the table, it's difficult to fully rule that out. The clip ends before we get anything close to an explanation, leaving the moment frozen at its most intense point.